Well, joining us now to help break down the impact of Assad's speech a little more is Becker. He's National Director of the A.N.S.W.E.R Coalition, an organization working to stop war. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, we heard there in that speech, Assad has rejected peace talks. He's called on the West to stop helping the opposition, to stop helping the rebels, and he's offering no concessions. So, in effect, was the speech basically a renewed declaration of war?
Well, I think President Assad actually laid out a roadmap for a negotiated settlement if one was wanting a negotiated settlement. He said there could be a ceasefire, there could be a reconciliation Congress, there could be a transitional government. The transitional government could draft a new constitution, and then there could be a referendum to vote on that constitution. President Assad is laying out the roadmap, but the fact of the matter is the United States, Britain, NATO, and their regional allies, including Turkey, including Qatar, including Saudi Arabia, don't want a political settlement because they have opted for the promotion of civil war as the primary method to bring out a government that they say must go. They brought down Libya, they brought down Iraq, and now Syria is the next on the target list. And I think that's the real reason we see endless, unceasing war in the Middle East and no negotiated settlement in Syria.
You know, I just want to play you something that the British Prime Minister, you mentioned Britain there, that the British Prime Minister David Cameron said. Now, Britain, of course, is playing a big role in some way insofar as humanitarian aid is concerned. This is what Cameron said on the BBC. Let's watch.
This is a stain on the world's conscience. On the humanitarian side, Britain is the second largest donor in terms of humanitarian help. But we've got to do more, and I'm working with partners to do more to help shape and work with the opposition within Syria and outside Syria to help speed up the transition, to get rid of this illegitimate regime and give Syria a fresh chance.
So there we have David Cameron. They're talking about humanitarian aid going to the Syrians. But we also know that many of the Western nations are supplying guns and bombs to the opposition as well. So I'm just wondering, what role is there for the West in any kind of negotiated settlement? Is there a role for them at all?
Well, of course, the people in Syria want a negotiated settlement. Most of the people in the region want a negotiated settlement. Most of the people in the world don't want another war. It's ironic to hear David Cameron and the British establishment, the colonizers of the Middle East, along with the French, talking about the Syrian government as a stain. They themselves dominated, colonized, negated all kinds of democracy in the Middle East for the people of Syria and Egypt and elsewhere. Britain and the United States and the NATO powers are involved now in the recolonization, a colonization of a new type in this resource-rich, geostrategically important region. They took out, as I said, Iraq and Libya, now Syria. They're going after Iran. This is part of an attempt to roll back the clock and create a new kind of colonial domination for these Western powers.
Okay, Brian, we're going to have to leave it there. Brian Becker, thanks for joining us.